The beauty of Jiu Jitsu lies in the technique. Technique makes the small more powerful than the large and strong. It's what allows us to face off against a larger, threatening opponent and confidently stand our ground. As you learn Jiu Jitsu techniques, focus on the flow from one move to the next. When you train this way and you're able to seamlessly integrate your movements, you'll actually be able to roll at a level that significantly outclasses your peers. The tendency is to have a shotgun effect in training where you come to random classes, you do what comes up in class. You free roll, you do what comes up in the free roll. There is a tendency to focus on technique acquisition, to watch as many different videos as you can and get passingly familiar with these moves. That road is somewhat of a dead end, and I'd strongly encourage you not to take it. The person who spends an hour on the mat working the jiu-jitsu techniques that they know will always beat the person who spends that hour on YouTube or paging through a book to find the next coolest thing. The reason for that is Jiu-Jitsu is about the execution of the technique, not just the technique as something that exists in isolation. What matters is how well we do what we do, far more than the actual specific act, which gets us to streamlining your focus as you train. So, if you're coming to class and learning what comes up in class, that's excellent. If you're doing some time rolling outside of the class, again, excellent. You're already ahead of the pack. But now let's look at how to truly excel in Jiu-Jitsu, to become one of the all-stars. So, when you're training, I have a question for you. What Jiu-Jitsu techniques are you actively improving right now? Do you have a list of them? Do you know what your focus and intent is? This is the question that you want to be asking yourself all of the time as you train, because it's going to get you to black belt and even further. Follow this training plan and you will outclass your rank peers. White belts. Have a flow of 3 different techniques. Each one sets the other one up from each primary position. So 3 different jiu-jitsu moves from guard, from the mount, from crossbody, from the back, and from open guard. White belts, in addition to that, don't worry too much about takedowns, but do a lot of break falls. Now, it's important that these moves are complementary. So each move should actually be a setup for another move that's a setup for another move, so that even with just 3 different doors you can try, you can always be getting further and further ahead of your opponent, rather than having to fight and strain and muscle and do everything that is the antithesis of being good at technique and flow. You want to be able to, when you encounter resistance at one point, know where the open door is and flow to it. As you advance, you want to diversify the game a little bit, but not as much as you might think. Blue belts, you want to have 6 different techniques that you are actively cultivating in each different position. And at this point, you should start adding in takedowns as well. Purple belts, we're going to go up to 9 different jiu-jitsu techniques from each position, and so on and so on. These moves are moves that you want to have put in hundreds to thousands of reps on. So when you're coming in for your training sessions, know what 3 moves you're going to work in that hour. Maybe an arm bar from crossbody, maybe the arm bar that flows to the Kimura from crossbody, the arm bar that flows to the Kimura that flows to whatever other move you want to connect to it. All of these different techniques that you're putting in dozens of reps in one training session on. When you stay that focused and that streamlined, you'll see notable progress in how your rolling flows and is more effortless than your competitors. And it's what's going to set you head and shoulders above even people who are the same rank as you. Because if they're training shotgun effect and you have a focus, you have an intent when training in your jiu-jitsu techniques, that is what's going to set you well ahead of the competition. So that is what I want you to focus on. Take out a piece of paper and a pen right now. Start mapping out your training plan. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you put this plan into action, and we'll look forward to sharing more with you in the next video.